kind of fun to go over there and tear up the grass a little bit. But a very nice facility, but we made it feel a little bit more at home by throwing some Chiefs logos up. Yeah. You know what? I think that it's accumulation of a lot of things. I think that that game in part just shows us that there's no easy games in this league. It doesn't matter what you've done before. It doesn't matter that, you know, we won however many times we beat them before in a row. You got to go in and earn it every single week because this league is hard, man. Everybody has pride. Everybody's a professional. And if you're not on your A game, we have big targets on our back. And you're not on your A game, anybody can come in and steal the show. So we took that as a moment of learning for us about our preparation and our work ethic. And the other positive that came out of that is our response to it, to not fold, to not point fingers at one another, but to look at ourselves and say, you know, what can I do to do a little bit more to help us win? And if each man doing that just creates a culture where we're able to go out and be successful.
You have like 60 players trying to look inside themselves to kind of show effort to kind of get you back to that response.
Yeah, the best thing about it is we have so many leaders on this team. You know, Travis, Patrick, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, L'Jarius Sneed, young guys even stepping up, Trent McDuffie, myself. Guys kind of know, and when they feel like they have something to say, you know, guys listen, you know, so that's what it is.
Going up against the 49ers, what are some of the things, the challenges that you, or maybe the similarities from the games that you just played against the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills that you see against San Francisco 49ers?
Similar to Baltimore, we know they're going to want to run the ball. They have a special talent in the run game, similar to the way Baltimore did. Christian McCaffrey, really, I know firsthand playing with them a couple of years in Stanford. But they also have some passing threats in Ayuk and Debo, so they have ways to get the balls to their playmakers, and the biggest thing for us is just the discipline. First and foremost, to stop the run. That's going to be the #1 task. And then after that, we know they're going to have some play actions off of that, just try to make Purdy as uncomfortable as possible in the pocket, try and force some plays that go in our favor. You know what? It's a lot more fun the second time around because, you know, the first time you've taken everything in and it's an experience you never had before. But the second time you kind of have you know what to expect a little bit. You kind of have a better plan in place on how to handle the mayhem, the media, the circus that just goes along with it, but to remain focused on our one goal here, which is the win on Sunday. But you get to enjoy it a lot more. So the second time around, definitely be blessed to be here. My biggest impact is just to be a tone setter, to be a voice in the back end, to be a guy that is a force multiplier for my teammates around me, make calls and try and elevate their game so everyone plays confident knowing that I have their back the same way that they have my back. And, you know, if I have a chance to take some ribs along the way, you know, I live in Kansas City now, so I love ribs, so I want to take those with me.
Preparing for that game and then out preparing for this one, whose presence do you think has caused more change or evolution in the offense, Christian's or Brock Purdy's?
Man, they're both two great players, man. They both done a lot of positive things for them. Christian is just a generational talent, knowing that from playing with them at Stanford. But you can't sleep on what Brock Purdy has done as a 7th rounder. He doesn't get enough credit for his accomplishments and what he does do. And it's easy to give a lot of credit to Christian because Christian does deserve it. But Brock has been playing out of his mind this season as well. With all that being said, I'd probably give the edge to just Christian McCaffrey because he's their go-to guy when things hit the fan. They're going to find a way to get him the ball because he's just so special with it, and we're going to have our eyes on him.
So you have seen a change in the offense, you know, kind of the system because of Christian's presence and everything he can do from that position. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of that way everywhere he goes. You've seen Carolina have a lot of change their whole offensive plan and base it around Christian, and he has had that same type of impact with the
Whereas I think with Brock, it's like he's operating the same system, but just at a much higher level, whereas the system changed for Christian. Is that,
I think they do some things in Brock's favor too, though.
Okay.
Because they've had a bunch of quarterback. Garoppolo comes in as the highest paid player in the league. And then you have, they draft Trey Lance, and then you have a couple other quarterback competitions, and Brock Purdy comes out on top. So he's definitely doing some positive things, and I know that any quarterback, you want them to be confident in the play calling, and you want to throw in some plays that the quarterback wants to run.
Thank you.
Justin, with that said about Christian, you guys send so many different packages blitz-wise. They tend to sometimes just get a quick release out of it instead of they'll pick stuff up, right? Christian will pick stuff up, but also, how do you guys combat them finding the quick release? And the pressure has to, I don't know what you do with the pressure, right? What's the plan there?
Yeah, the number one thing for this game plan after run fits will be tackling. You know, when you watch the Green Bay and the Detroit Lions game, there's a couple of plays in there that they had opportunities, that plays that should have been TFLs. Debo or Christian breaks a tackle, and now it's going for a first down, and you start creating momentum that way. So I think that it will be critical for us that on the edge, on those dump ball passes, on the screens or whatever they're doing, that the first guy there make the tackle and really slow that momentum down. Don't allow them to catch a stride and catch a rhythm that way.
So you know Christian, what makes him so hard to tackle? Which aspect?
The guy is a machine, man. He doesn't get tired. He's a workhorse. He's strong. He's stronger than what his size makes it look. But he also has the quick feet, the stutter step before he breaks inside, the jump cuts, and he also has shown in the last game too that he added the stiff arm to it. So you know, the guy has a complete utility belt and at his disposal.
Last one I got is talking about strength. Everybody wants to see LJ against Debo because LJ is so physical. Is there an aspect of his physicality that surprises you in LJ?
I mean, LJ used to play safety, so
that's a high number.
You know, so that's where the fearlessness, that's where that dog comes from. He's not afraid of tackling anybody. He's not afraid of any smoke. I mean, you could probably throw him in at linebacker and he'll be just fine. Yeah.
You mentioned Christian in college multiple times now. Do you have a good college story for us? Something about when you were back there together that no one knows?
Yeah, so we had, we used to do these competitions called 6 a.m.s in the wintertime.
Okay.
And we go against somebody else each round. So me being a defensive guy, I never lost. We're in the final week. This is like week 7 or week 8.
You're saying going against like backs on backers?
No, like we like each day the coaches assign you as a person you're going against. So there'll be like different skills challenges or different challenges, and you're going against that person for like points. Like if you win, you get a point. The person wins, whoever at the end of the day has the most points, like wins that day.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, you know, agility drills, it'll be ladder drills. It'll be like a tug of war drill where you're strapped to each other with the belt and you're trying to pull the other person across the line. I never lost, and Christian never lost. We go head to head, and we end up going into the final round as a tiebreaker, and he edges me out on it, and I was sick about it.
On what? On which skill?
It was like a long agility course. So it was like a 100-yard long agility course that he edged me out on. It was the first time I ever lost.
And it's still bothering you?
Yeah, absolutely, it still bothers me.
Okay, let's also talk about Stanford, though, and how smart you have to be for Spags' defense. Chris Jones just told me 6 years in, he's maybe comfortable.
Yeah.
How hard was it to pick it up?
Definitely a learning curve with it. Coming in last year, I mean, honestly, the first couple games were kind of rough. Especially trying to lead a young defensive back room. We had 5 rookies. So there was times in the early part of the season where I might have been a little bit slow in making a call. And, you know, they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. It's like, damn, we both don't know what call to make. You know, but as the year progressed on and you just put in the time work and Coach Spags spent time with us to learn the systems, really about after the Bengals game last season is when things really started to click really well. And you saw that our play as a defense really started to pick up. We've been able to take that with us this year.
So I talked about this with Juan Thornhill earlier in the year. Is it just the amount of pressures? Is it all the if, then, that, this? Like, what makes it so complicated?
Yeah, one, we have 50 different blitzes. You know, so it's just a sheer volume and load of pressures, but also the amount of double calls that we put into the game plan too. We have calls in the game that can end up being cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, or cover 0, all in the same play call just based on whatever the offense is doing. So that multiplicity is a little bit of a learning curve to learn it, but once you master it and once you have the confidence that, you know, we've been able to build like we have this season, it really turns into a strength because it makes it very difficult on opposing offenses to just know what you're doing.
So then Justin, what's the statement? I'm so sorry. What's the statement then on this group? Like, you think about a Jim Shorts defense. It's as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
They just line up and play. If it's a corner blitz, the corner blitzes.
Yeah.
You guys have to do so much thinking and can still play this fast. So what's the statement about this defense? About this group? About that meeting room?
Tough, cerebral, physical, high energy. We have everybody running to the ball, and tacklers. We pride ourselves on being a group that tackles. We don't miss tackles. We don't, throw a shoulder in there. We pride ourselves on being rap tacklers.
Has anyone ever said to Spags, enough, stop?
The way that the year has been going, we're like, nah, give us more, make some more calls, man. It's been working.
Is there anything new for this week? You don't
Absolutely.
Have to tell us what.
Absolutely. Yeah, there'll be some wrinkles in there, but absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Justin, can you talk about this run and what it's meant to you coming over from Houston?
This year has been really special, man. I think that I like being the underdog. I like being the villain. I like being the guy that everyone is hoping falls off the pedestal. So it's been a lot of fun battling through the adversity, finding our identity as a team, and having our backs against the walls in a lot of situations and finding a way to still win. So overcoming adversity, having the hardest gauntlet in the NFL up to this point to make it to the Super Bowl, battling through the number 1 team, number 1, 2, and number 3 rated offenses, top 2 out of the 3 defenses on the way here, and to still be at where we're at. It's just a special story, and it's one that we want to have a Cinderella ending to.
Just a question from 11 Sports Zone and the American football community in Belgium. It happened quite often this playoffs that the deepest safety got beaten by a wide receiver or a tight end. What do you do to avoid that?
The number one thing you have to do is have good discipline in what your call is. So you see a lot of guys that maybe in a big stage, in a big moment, their eyes might get lost, or they might slow their back pedal. But if you keep your eyes on your keys, what the offense is doing, high hats, low hats, what the offense is doing, whether receivers are releasing downfield, you keep your depth. And then when you have the opportunity to make the tackle, you make the tackle. You just got to make those plays. If you're able to do that, you're going to give your team a better chance at winning. I mean, we saw last week in Baltimore, Majorius Lee find a way to get the guy on the ground, and because of that effort, it gave himself a chance of forcing him on the goal line. So never giving up on the play and just finding a way.
Could you choose an emoji that describes your feelings this week? Please?
My feelings this week?
Yeah.
That one.
Okay, why?
Yeah, because we walked into opening night and there was booze all over this arena. Yeah, and I just loved it. I love that energy, man. It really, the same thing with Trav, it really turns me up, man. It makes it a lot of fun to go out and get ready to play. So, plan on showing this face a lot on Sunday.
Excellent. Justin, what's the most difficult part to be in a great organization like the Chiefs, the winning organization?
The most difficult part is the daily doing the same thing every day, coming with the same attention to detail, the same tenacity, the same level of effort, the same attention to detail, and never letting that standard drop off, because it is a standard and it's a very high standard. And it's not something that you can just show up sometimes and do. It's something that you have to show up each and every day and earn it, so that way that you can play fast and confident on Sunday.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Yep.
Chris Jones referred to you guys. Chris Jones referred to you guys being considered as the villains nowadays because of the winning, I guess. You guys seem to enjoy that role. Is that some kind of wrestling thing, or I don't know?
Nah, it makes it a lot of fun, man. Defense is such a physical, violent game that, you can take any reason to juice us up anymore. You want to give us a reason to turn us up? You want to give us a reason to put another chip on our shoulder? I'll gladly take it. You know what I mean? Just make me play harder on Sunday.
What did you guys take away from that win at Buffalo? Because up to that point, you hadn't had to go on the road in the playoffs. So how big was that win for you guys moving forward, and what did you take away from it?
It's huge for us. I think that it was a response to adversity. I think that it showed us that as long as we believe in ourselves, it doesn't matter what any experts out there in the media say is going to happen on Sunday, because we control our own destiny. Our offense showed that they can go out there and be a dominant offense. They can put up points when we need them to. And our defense showed that in critical situations, we can make the big plays. things. We can stop the run when we needed to. We can contain a mobile quarterback, and we can be physical. You know what I mean? So I think that was a big momentum maker for us, and it was something to build off of, especially going into Baltimore and now into this week.
The Bills have been a team that have played you tough, that beaten you in the regular season. Do you view them as sort of a rival for you guys?
Absolutely. That's a talented team. We have a lot of similar characteristics, run similar defensive schemes, very high-powered offense, very good quarterback, and you know it's going to be a knockout, drag-out time every time we face each other. It's definitely good for television, so it's a tough opponent, and we always enjoy playing those guys.
Justin, how has Spags changed from what you've seen of him? Is he more creative, more mellow? He's got better talent. How's he changed over the years, and particularly this season? Yeah, well, you see that as he has more trust in us as players to master his system and to make his plays, he's able to give us more, and he's able to add to it. And he has a good gauge about how much information guys can handle, and we can handle a lot this year. So it's been really successful for us, and it's allowed him to be very creative in dialing up some new calls, new pressures that we haven't had in previous years, and to go into game plans with a very deep playbook that he has the option to choose from on which plays he wants to run. You have coach written all over you. Is that something you'd like to pursue in the future?
As a coach?
Yes.
Maybe, either coach or commentating. I just love ball, man. I love every aspect of it, so I'm passionate about it.
It'll be good.
Thank you.
Not only is it Black History Month, but it's also, you know, February, Mardi Gras, you being from Louisiana. Talk about Mardi Gras and your upbringing.
Yeah, shoot, man. Mardi Gras was the best holiday ever in Louisiana. We got off for school for it. Fat Tuesday, the king cake. I still get the same king cake today that I got when I was a kid. You know, we get them sent in. I ship them in from New Orleans. It's kind of my signature gift item around this time of year because guys know I'm from Louisiana. But Black History Month is just a moment to appreciate where we've been and how we got to where we are today, and to continue to use that as motivation to continue to build and elevate in the future.
Thanks, everybody. Justin Reid.